No! Hey guys, that was us puking the drive shaft of the old grocery getter there. So this time I think we got a good episode. We're going to be going over and visiting our friends over at Henderson Drive Line and Axle over in Grafton, Ohio. And we're going to make a new drive shaft for the wagon. Something that I've always been interested in is we're going to make a carbon fiber. And I've always been intrigued. I know they've been around for a while, but I never really understood how they held the yokes and stuff in them. So we're going to go over and see Terry, the guys over at Henderson Drive Line, and we're going to make a new drive shaft for the wagon. Stay tuned. I'm Marty Moore, owner and driver of the Hemi Express Wheel Stander. Welcome to my hot rod garage. So Terry's getting us fixed up here. He gave me the new yoke here. So what I got to do here now is I'll come over here and get this old one off. See the old one here that's broke? See where it broke right there? So we'll get this old one off here. So here we go. Terry's got us fixed up with a new one, new nut. So we'll get this new one back in here. That seal looks okay. Nut back on there. All right, I'm going to try to put about 150 pounds on that. So I got my torque stick here, 150. So we'll see about that. Get this out of our way. That's 150. That should do it, guys. That should do it. There she be. That was not broke. Terry came over. We want to measure the drive shaft in the wagon. He wanted to put the yoke in there and get a good measurement on it. And he was looking at this. So Terry, explained to me again what you was just saying.
The reason this failed is because this is the wrong U-joint in the yoke. This yoke, the U-joint doesn't fit the yoke properly. Even though this is held in by the U-bolt, this U-joint was designed to fit the snap ring on the inside of the yoke, and there is no machine surface on the inside of the yoke for the U-joint to fit properly.
So, but the new one that you gave me that we have in the car now is going to be more better.
Yes,
okay.
Much more better.
All right, and we're going to put the yoke in there now. You brought the slip yoke for the transmission.
Transmission yoke, 1350 series for the 727.
Oh yeah.
Bigger, better, stronger.
Oh yeah. That's more gooder.
What we got to do is, being that it has this large umbrella boot on the back of the trans,
okay,
it's capable of collapsing, but we're going to pull it out probably about a half inch past the ability of it collapsing. So that's where it's going to ride.
Okay.
And then all we have to do is measure from the center of the U-joint here to the center of the U-joint on the rear.
I'll take the dumb end.
I'm going to turn this so we're...
And I'm going to hold here the center of the U-joint.
Right at the bottom of the yoke, we have 51 and 3/8. 51 and 3/8 is our center to center U-joint measurement.
51 3/8.
Yep.
Okay. And you pulled this out here, you said about a 1/2 inch. It's about what you want on this.
Beyond the umbrella part of the boot.
Because this is capable now of coming in and collapsing that boot.
Yep. So if you...
So that should give us plenty of...
And that's for installation. You want as much engagement into the trans as you can get, but you don't want it to ride up against the umbrella. But you know, as far as installing it, it can go that far, that much further in.
Good deal. Okay.
So we need a new drive shaft at 51 and 3/8 center to center, 1350 series U-joints.
For kicks and giggles, let's just see how close this one was.
If you hold it on this center,
That's what I was going to do.
you're about 52 inches.
So actually this one was long.
Yeah. This has a different profile. The yoke has a different profile. This is much more massive, so this would be more of... This is where the length difference is.
Oh yeah, look how much beefier that one is than the old one. That one ought to hold up. That's a Hemi one, right?
Yes,
Or a Hemi.
for Marty.
You gotta have big stuff for Hemis, guys. Okay, let's go build a drive shaft.
Okay.
They're still open. Henderson drive line and axle. Ron, ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a little bit excited right now. We are going to broaden our horizons. We are going to learn how a carbon fiber drive shaft's made. Are you excited?
I'm excited.
Huh? All right, let's get it.
Trenton has it marked very specifically. I'm gonna line that up.
All right, I'm going to back off here a little bit.
This is the scrap piece of tube. This is the scrap piece of tube. You can see how fine the cut is on that.
Yep.
And I think that's the real reason that you need the diamond blade. It doesn't leave any rough areas. Anything that's rough, we would hit down with just a typical file or Scotch-Brite pad.
Okay.
Now we get some gloves on. I was thinking about building one for my GTO, but the expense of the shaft just doesn't justify having that in your everyday driver.
Yeah.
You got to have a real reason to put a carbon fiber shaft in there.
You have to have a Hemi, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, at least a Hemi.
A Hemi? And Marty's big foot?
Alright.
Don't edit that out, okay?
Now, after we get that all cut up, take a Scotch-Brite pad and clean out the inside of the tube. You want to get the entire surface of where the yoke is going to go in there. So Those yokes are 4 inches that end up going on the inside of this tube. So you abrade the inside, clean it out. You gotta do this for a while here. It creates a lot of dust.
All right, say that again now that we're over here.
Bringing it over here to clean out some of the dust out of the inside of the tube right now. Hopefully most of it, but we do go through a further cleaning process after this. But this take away the bulk of the carbon fiber dust.
All about being clean, right?
Absolutely, yep. Every step. Most of the work to do this is the cleaning.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. They do not want any dust to be inside of this tube. So.
And what are we putting in here? Acetone?
Acetone, yes sir. Yep. Got a plunger can here. Still has a little bit, but I'm gonna put a little bit more in it. Alright. New can of acetone. It's getting a little messy. We should probably get a funnel for it. Cleaning process. Some acetone on here. Go on the inside of the shaft and do some more further cleaning. Trying to get that whole area where it's going to be bonded. See a little bit of dust on there.
Yep.
That's the other thing, is they want us to change our gloves all the time to make sure that it's
Clean.
especially clean. Yep, absolutely.
Kind of like being in an operating room.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
Yeah.
Go again.
That is clean.
Right. And we kind of got to do the same thing with these yokes here. So before they do that, before we clean it, we got to braid the outside of it. Got a Scotch-Brite pad here. in. Spray it down with some acetone here. Had a brain fart. Got what it's called. Make sure you get into the holes a little bit.
Wow, look at the stuff coming out of there.
Yep. Yeah, the holes that they use at the manufacturing facility where they make these, they must have a decent amount of oil on them, because we get some decent oil out of these things.
Yeah, you can
Makes
see it
sense.
there.
Yeah, it makes sense why they want us to clean them as well as we do. And then, before I do that, I'm gonna clean out the inside here, just to make sure I get all of that the oils and residue that are inside there as clean as possible. And then I'm gonna spray them again. You'll see that it's not as clean as it was before I stuck it in there. Give another quick spray down. Spray the outside again. Wipe it down.
Now that's clean.
Absolutely. All right. And then after we clean them, they don't want us to touch the surface area of the area that's going to be bonded at all with our hands. Spray some air, make sure I got all of that, anything that could have fallen off of the
Pipe cleaner?
pipe cleaner. Thank you. Absolutely. All right. Start off with this side here. Definitely hot to the touch now. Alright. Time for some glue on the inside of the tube. And the reason they have us do this is it acts as a lubrication. So I gotta make sure that It's nice and mixed here. It's coming out because it's actually two compounds together. Alright, looks good. So, run some bead on the inside of the tube here. Use your fingers, smear it out in there. Yeah, and this kind of helps. It acts as a lubricant for when you're pressing it together. Right. This is hot. Actually, I already pulled these out. And this rod was designed to be the size for a 1350 U-joint. Put this up here. Alright. Would help if it was tight. Yep. It's just making contact with it. Not a lot of pressure on it, but it's enough to get it to start to push in there. Sometimes you gotta adjust these, make it cooperate a little bit better with you. Oh, there we go. Now it went too far. Trying to get it going there as straight as possible. And there it is. One side done. Now to do the other side. What's that? Careful to avoid touching the surface area at all costs. Don't want to get any of our oils from our fingers on there, or and a nice thing about this system is because we have the bar down here, it centers the yoke, so it pretty much does the phasing for us.
Yes.
Where normally we would have to...
Trenton, you came too far in on the front.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Try to eyeball it from the side here.
So we're trying to get that thing to start as straight as it will.
Absolutely. The guy that showed us that trained us on how to do this was just smacking it with his hands to get it to go straight. He didn't even have these centering points to kind of center it in there. All right, now that we got a little bit further in.
That is pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Both yokes are in as far as they can go.
Now, weight-wise, Trenton, what are these like compared to? I mean, you got steel, then you have aluminum, then you have this, correct?
Yes, sir. How much do you think a steel drive shaft this size?
A steel drive shaft in 3-inch diameter, about that long, is probably about 15 to 16 pounds. I would say 15 to 20. Aluminum is probably 9 or 10. The carbon fiber, because of the aluminum ends, is probably 7 or 8. The tube is substantially lighter, but the ends are heavier.
Strength-wise, how is it?
That's probably twice as strong as steel. As far as the way the charts show.
Wow.
The carbon fiber 3-inch 125 wall tube is more capable than the 3-inch 83 wall, which you'd commonly find in an automotive application.
Now it comes time for the glue. How much glue we got left in this thing?
You should be okay.
You think I should be okay?
Out far enough.
Now we're moving to our port injected. It's what they call them, port injected holes here. You can see.
Which probably from my gas company days, probably you're putting it in the lower one to run any air out of the top side,
Absolutely.
correct?
Yep. You're putting it in the bottom one.
Okay.
Until it completely fills up the cavity, and you start to see it coming out of the top. And once it starts coming out of the top, and you don't see any air bubbles coming out anymore, then you know you're good to go.
Yep. Fill low, bleed high.
Yes, sir. Up. See, it's already starting to come out of the top.
Out of the top. So you put that in till you don't see any more air bubbles coming out?
Yes, sir.
That is pretty amazing to me right there.
Clean off the yoke so that it's not all covered with glue. Give it a quick little wipe down. And then cover it up for some tape with some tape. We also don't want to turn it. You want to keep the top at the top and the bottom at the bottom.
Ah.
For curing purposes.
And that's going to be as strong as welded steel, Ron.
I guess. What he says. You probably don't take hardly any glue, does it? Because the tolerances are so tight.
Every drive shaft that we make is approximately like 3/4 of one of these. Which
Yeah.
yes sir.
Are you glued?
Yep. We're all glued.
Let him wipe it.
Oops.
Yep. Gotta wipe it first.
Jump the gun.
Jumping the gun.
Gotta get rid of the glue, make it look all nice and pretty.
I've done a couple of them, and the only way I can do it is after hours because the foam is intense, and then I'm getting called away for this, that, or the other, and
Wipe up some of the glue they got on the table.
yeah, here's the tape. Yeah, that
Cover it up
glue
with some
is-
tape.
That 3M glue is crazy expensive. One of those tubes is probably $60. Is it not, Trenton?
Yeah.
All right, guys, here we are back the second day on our drive shaft, which we have to balance it now and install the U-joints. And why couldn't we do that yesterday, Trenton?
Because we had to wait till it's set up. It had to cure a little bit before we could put it through the pressure of the balancer and install the U-joints and stuff like that.
Okay. Now these, what was you telling me on these yokes? Explain this to me.
So this is a 1350 U-joint, which means it has a 3 5/8 from cap to cap and 1 3/16 cap size. So
And naturally, the bigger the U-joint, the stronger the U-joint,
absolutely,
correct?
yep. These are what you see in most of your racing applications.
Wow, that's a lot beefier than what was in there.
So that's what we're going to be putting in there. Got this and this. And probably we're going to take the tape off now.
Guys, I don't know about gluing this thing together here.
Pretty crazy.
Pretty crazy. I know they've run carbon fiber and pro stocks for years.
All right. Got a transmission yoke here. Both of our U-joints.
So all this stuff is 1350, right?
Absolutely, yep. 1350 end to end. What I like to do is get everything out of the packaging, get all the snap rings ready. Throw this out over here. First thing is getting this yoke, getting the U-joint in this yoke. We just do it the old-fashioned way.
Ron, that's how we do it. I thought they'd have something high tech for that.
Nope, that's not how we do it down here.
It never works that easy.
New parts.
It's all new parts makes a difference.
Yeah, it absolutely does. If it wasn't new, you'd have to go through
And polishing, and
Absolutely.
grinding, and sealing.
Yes, sir.
Wow. He's high tech now.
Yep. This is about the high tech as we get. Seated till it gets to the end. So I can get a snap ring in there. Make sure it's seated snap ring groove all the way around.
See how easy that is,
Let's
Ron?
make it hell of easy.
Why do we fight them all the time?
I have the unfair advantage to having homemade tools and new parts to work with.
I'm not putting any in anymore. I'm gonna let Trent.
Yeah.
3-minute job, he's got it in.
Make sure it's in there, all seated. Give it a little tap, loosen it up. There you have it.
Wow.
I like to make sure that the snap rings have a tendency of flaring out a little bit sometimes, and I like try to flatten them down as much as I can. Got one side ready to get a snap ring in it. Get it in there. Make sure it's all fully seated in there. Move over to the other side. Grab a rag, give it some cushion when I knock the other side through. I'm gonna lay it over.
Maybe it's the hammer he's using. Maybe you can't use a one-handle ball pen.
Maybe. It's a special hammer.
You hear it kind of starting to bottom out there.
It's probably better than using a socket, isn't it?
A little bit.
See? The things you learn.
Make sure it's fully seated in there a little bit. Give it a little tap. I always feel the snap rings afterwards and make sure it's in there somewhat even.
Now, Trenton, tell me.
Yes, sir.
I noticed this one, there's no grease fitting on this. And you were telling me something about the ones with the grease fittings as opposed to without the grease fittings.
Yeah, so I recommend solid U-joints and everything. The ones that have grease fittings, they drill them through, so they're hollow on the inside. So I always tell people, set them and forget them. Put the solid ones in that that aren't greasable, and you won't have to worry about it, especially in like a hot rod, something that you're not going to be driving through all the elements.
Right. Makes sense to me.
Time to get the back one in now. Got a 1350 yoke that goes into our chuck, and we've had to search high and low to make sure that we got 1350 yokes that run true.
Yeah. which this is what we just installed on the rear end over there so we could take our measurement.
Absolutely, yeah, it's the same thing. Same thing. And see how this thing works. Sir, I'll get this into you. Although it's probably wide enough.
And then we're bolting this in just like we would if it was in the car.
Absolutely, yep. All right, good. Make sure this is all tight. These are our locks to kind of take less stress on our dial indicators for when we install and uninstall units. I always make sure I have these locks on here, so now they have the ability to.
Wow.
Check, make sure everything's tight. Now we'll get to take a look at it on the balancer. Right now we're going to start off with rotating it counterclockwise. As you can see, how much the dial indicators are moving. It's going to need a lot of adjusting now.
Now that, Trent, is that just because this is carbon fiber? I mean, like if that was a steel drive shaft or aluminum, this would be a much different story, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty close to perfect, which we see very commonly with the carbon fiber drive shafts. So actually the front looks really good, so I'm gonna move on to the back. The back looks really good too, but we're gonna do some adjusting to it. It doesn't even want to give me a line. Normally, when you run it, when that light goes off, it'll give you a line on here. It'll tell you approximate area where the weight needs to go.
Much like balancing a tire.
Absolutely.
On one of the new tire machines.
So I'm gonna have to. It's making me run it again. But I'm gonna switch it to remove because in this case we're probably gonna drill little holes in it to balance it. So the setting I had it on before was to add weight to it, but being that it's so close, I'm switching it to remove. It does the same thing, it just gives you the weight on the opposite side. So there we got our first line. So now we're going to run it clockwise. lines there. You line them up right here. So it's just centered on there. We're lined up with those 2 lines right there. And it'll tell us where we need to remove weight from. Which, right now, it's in a little bit of a tricky spot. So.
All right, Trenton, put your mark on it.
Alrighty.
Precision on everything.
He's precision on everything.
Yeah. I should have brought out a tape measure.
Yeah, taught him what. Looks different than the last time. It's a little white.
Oh, we have had white stickers before.
And guys, remember what I tell you. I made you a promise. On this channel, I won't endorse anything that I don't believe in. When I tell you something, these guys are the best of the best. Not somebody that stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. They know their stuff. Terry was telling me this is his only job right out of high school since he was 18 years old. He's been doing this for over 40 years. So if you need rear end work done, drive shaft right here. Henderson Drive Line. Come and see Terry, Trenton, and the guys over here. All right, guys, here's a moment of truth. Here's the new one. Here's the old one that got bummed up there. So now's when we figure out if all our measurements that we took are right. I had some tape on there to hold the caps on. All right, let's see if she fits. Back here, make sure we got our cups lined up. Looks like it. Are we in on top up here? I think so. Get things started. Let's see in here now. Let's see. We're supposed to have about a ½ inch. Oh, look at that. That is just about perfect, what we wanted there. On that slip yoke. Just about perfect. These up here. Jack. All right, we got the in on the little tab here. So let's spin it around now. See if we can get the other one. Make sure it's in. Oh yeah, see our tab there? Look at the width on them things. It's almost the width of the whole cup there. Really impressed with this brand. Terry fixed this up with over there at Henderson Drive Line. You don't over tighten these. That's why they put a 5/16 head on them, probably. Okay, that 1350 all the way now. Both U-joints, yokes, new drive shaft. Like I say, we got this just about right. Terry said we wanted about a 1/2 inch here on her slip. I think she looks good. Only thing left to do now is try it out. Well, folks, this video is not ending how I'd hoped. This video was supposed to end with the wagon over at Terry's, over at Henderson Drive Line, doing a long smoky burnout. That was the plan anyways. Got the new drive shaft in. You seen us put it in. I took it for a test drive and we had a bad vibration in it, and I'm like, what in the world is wrong with this thing? I thought, this drive shaft's out of balance. Well, I seen him balance it. I knew better. So we got looking around, and here's what we found, guys. Oh no. Can you see that? That is not good. That is not good. No. I hate it when that happens. So I guess the next video will be, I don't know if we can change that tail shaft in here without pulling the tranny or not, but we'll find out. But we will get back to that long smoky burnout, I promise you. Till next time, be good. Thanks for watching.